Hello, everyone. It's Mr. Harland. Come with me. Into the woods we go, to my cabin. In the woods. Oh, yeah. It's in the woods. Mm-hmm. Far away from the city, where we'll be safe. Yes, in the country parts of Missouri. Not Missouri. Missouri. That's how the state's name's pronounced. Missouri. If you say Missouri, go back to school, you losers. You don't know how to speak English. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. But anyways, welcome to my cabin in the woods. And you could see nature. Yes, nature. A zombie and some giant spiders. And a skeleton, two of them with golden helmets. Just ignore that. It's just a great CGI effects of Hollywood nowadays. That's all I have to say. But gather around the fireplace, kiddies. Everyone, gather around. As today we're going to learn about John the Painter, whose real name is James Aitken. James Aitken, also known as John the Painter, was born on September the 28th, 1752. His convictions were arson in the royal dockyards, which really helped out with the Revolutionary War, as not very Royal Navy ships could help in the effort if they were burned and destroyed, and also blew up. Aitken was born in Edinburgh in 1752, the son of a whitesmith and the eighth of 12 children. The early death of his father allowed Aitken to enter the charitable school for impoverished children at George Heriot's Hospital, which was founded to care for the pure faith fatherless barons, Scott's poor fatherless children of Edinburgh. Upon leaving school at age 14, he tried his hand at a variety of low-paying trades, including painter apprenticeship in 1767, before finding that the world of criminal activity offered him more immediate rewards. Isn't that just lovely? He admitted in his testament to being a highwayman, burglar, shoplifter, robber, and on at least one occasion, oh my, a rapist, which isn't true. Thank God. And he said in a quote, I made the best of my way through Winchester to Basingstoke, intending to return to London. Going over down near Basingstoke, I saw a girl watching some sheep, upon whom with some threats and imprecations I committed a robbery to shame, it be said. Yes, he robbed someone, just a woman watching sheep. Isn't that just lovely? Well, I'm sure the sheep were quite entertained by robbery by a highwayman who would start setting Royal Navy ships ablaze. Fearful that his crimes would soon be detected, Aitken negotiated an indenture in exchange for voyage to Jamestown, Virginia. He had no real intention of serving the terms of the indenture and soon escaped to North Carolina. His next 2 years in the colonies were spent in such locales as Philadelphia, Boston, New York City, and Perth Amboy, New Jersey. It was during this period he became exposed to revolutionary rhetoric, and Aitken claimed that he had been harassed by British troops for being a suspected Whig. Isn't that lovely? At some point after After 1775, a return trip to England, he developed his scheme of political arson. Some historians have speculated that Aitken was motivated by a desire to escape his life of insignificance and poverty, and that by striking a blow on behalf of the American revolutionaries, Aitken would be recognized and handsomely rewarded for his role. The British dockyards Aitken believed were vulnerable to attack, and in fact they were. And he was convinced that one highly motivated arsonist could cripple the Royal Navy by destroying ships in the harbors, but more importantly the dockyards and rope works used to build, refit, and repair the massive Royal Navy. Despite being a wanted criminal for his other crimes, Aitken traveled freely to several dockyards to determine their vulnerability. Sadly, the U.S. would have the same thing during the Civil War in the form of Gosport Naval Shipyard or the Norfolk, Virginia Naval Shipyards during the Civil War. Hence why the Confederacy was able to build its first ironclad, the Virginia, because those dockyards are quite vulnerable. And the same can be said for British dockyards during the Revolutionary War, as James Aitken figured out. Additionally, he traveled to Paris, where he eventually forced himself into a meeting with American diplomat Silas Deany, assuming I pronounced the name right. Although Deany was skeptical that Aitken would be successful, Aitken left the meetings believing that he had the full backing of Deany and the American Revolutionary government. What is clear is that Aitken never received remuneration beyond a few pounds that Deany lent him. Aitken returned to England with Deany's instruction to meet the American expatriate, spy, and double agent Edward Bancroft. Aitken disclosed to him at least some of his intentions using his training with mixed chemicals and paint solvents from his trade as a painter helped somewhat. Aitken solicited the help of several others in constructing crude incendiary devices with the intention of burning down the highly flammable buildings in the royal dockyards. Over the course of several months, Aitken attacked facilities in Portsmouth, Bristol, creating the impression that a band of saboteurs was on the loose in England. His manhunt, capture, and imprisonment. Aitken's exploits, though only marginally successful at causing actual damage, did succeed in generating a significant amount of panic amongst the British public and government. Unsurprisingly, other fires detected during the same time period were incorrectly attributed to Aitken fanning the alarm. At the height of the crisis, King George III was receiving frequent briefings, and groups such as the Bow Street Runners were sent after the trail of Aitken. Eventually, through the help of Sir John Fielding, a description of Aitken naming him John the Painter and a reward for his capture were posted soon after. Aitken was arrested while traveling through the country. Over the course of his imprisonment, British authorities were initially unsuccessful in gaining significant evidence. However, they soon co-opted a young man, John Baldwin, a former Philadelphia painter who visited Aitken frequently in prison and eventually gained his trust. Aitken soon provided a great deal of incriminating information to this agent, which was subsequently used in locating witnesses and strengthening the state's case against him. British authorities, specifically during the trial and then execution. British authorities hanged John the Painter, James Atkinson, on March the 10th, 1777 from the mizzenmast, of HMS Arethusa for arson in royal dockyards after he was caught setting the rope house at Portsmouth on fire. The mast was struck from the ship and re-erected at the dockyard entrance so as many people as possible could watch the execution. It was the highest gallows ever to be used in execution in England at the time. Some 20,000 people reportedly witnessed the hanging, and his remains were gibbeted and displayed at Fort Blockhouse for several years until they were finally buried. Where, no one really knows. Jesus. Well, that goes for today's video. Yeah, that's just lovely. A highwayman who thought he was helping out the American revolutionaries in the U.S. by, well, doing what he did. Well, the other stuff didn't help, but maybe focusing on burning more wooden ships of King George III's favorite little navy would have helped a little more, but that's only looking in hindsight. That is it today, folks, for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you love my content, feel free to like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell, and leave a comment in the comments section down below. But for now, as one YouTuber said, we shall do this very soon again, my friends. Next Monday. Goodbye, everyone.